Ian, how are you?
I'm good. I'm all right. Health-wise, on the mend, and physically, mentally, in a good place.
Good. If I can take you back to Friday, May the 30th, it was a start of a new chapter at Partick Thistle. Martin Wilson was appointed head coach. It was also a new chapter in your life that started that day. What went on?
Yeah, listen, just in the build up to that, in appointing Mark, I think it's well documented that it was offered to Brian with Mark as his sidekick as well. I think they'd done really well at the end of last season, deserved their the chance to take the club on, and what we'd spoken about in the build up to that at the end of the season. I thought my relationship with them was very, very good, very open, honest, and we worked well together. So when Brian at the last minute pulled out and wanted to continue his playing, and obviously wanted to subsequently move to Falkirk, I think Mark was in the natural position to offer him the job straight away, and that was the day before I was due to get married, of which I did, but I left here at I think it was 4:30 on that Thursday evening, and everything was tied up, so that was good.
Okay. So you went back to Cheshire?
Yeah.
Got married
on the Friday, and
went on honeymoon.
And then went on honeymoon on the Sunday, and obviously we're supposed to be out there for 10 days, but on day one had the accident, and I was in hospital for that 10 or 11, 12 days, and then had to recover and make sure I was fit to fly back, which in the end, all told, it was a month that we're over there. So hardly sightseeing, hardly on holiday, but I suppose as soon as I came out of surgery and was able to communicate, I was on the phone, I was on my laptop, spending that time in my hospital bed, trying to work with people over here and keep in touch with Mark, keep in touch with Lee Turnbull, newly appointed head of recruitment, and plenty of agents and players along the way. So
there was an accident whilst you're swimming in the sea, I believe, is that right?
Yeah, I was in the sea, I was on my own. I'd been swimming around, didn't feel as though it was a strong swell or certainly not waves crashing down on me. And then I went to swim with a wave to take me back into shore, and the wave just flipped me over, tossed me on my head into the seabed, and I knew straight away that I'd done something pretty severe.
How serious was it?
4 vertebrae broken, 2 in my neck, 2 in the middle of my back, and two ribs broken. So I suppose a strong fall, and I knew as soon as I couldn't bend much more than 90 degrees when I to get back in. I just knew I had to get back into the shore, and then ended up crawling on my hands and knees a little bit, and then I could go no further. So pretty scary stuff. Obviously laying on the beach for half an hour before the ambulance could get to us, and I couldn't feel from my waist down anything. So pretty
scary.
Pretty quick, the medical services, and they were great, and they had to react very quickly to get me into surgery.
You mentioned shortly afterwards being back on the phone. I can vouch for that myself. It took you a few weeks to return to the UK physically, is that correct? Yeah, I was back on the 4th of July. Very much my independence getting back, but no, it was something that we were desperate to do that. I needed a doctor to help repatriate, to fly with us, but as soon as I heard that I could get back on a certain date, then there was no hesitation. I was back down in Cheshire, and working from home, if you like. A lot of the fans would have seen you here on the open day towards the end of July with a brace on. Thankfully, that's all gone. Yeah,
that was a date that I'd spoken to the chairman and had in mind to try and get up here to be visible, face to face with people. It's been a phased return back to work, and that's still, I've still got
certain appointments that I've had to have with consultants over here. But no, you know, with help of the club, with the help of the chairman, board, very understanding in helping me get back to work. And obviously it's something that's drummed into me anyway. I hate sitting at home doing nothing. I can't do that, and I think much to the wrath of my wife. You know, when we were in hospital, you know, she was just willing me to take it easy and not do too much on that side. But you know, I knew what the amount of work that was going through that we needed to do. Certainly with a new head coach in place, needing to do work on the playing side. It was important to be in communication all that time and to be able to support Mark in that respect.
If we keep the theme of chapters going, during the summer there was a number of chapters closed in playing careers at Partick Thistle and a number of new chapters opened in players at Partick Thistle. How do you view the squad that's been assembled?
It was always going to be a big summer. It was always going to be a time where, and it's natural, any club, every club, you know, has to say goodbye to certain players. Some may have been here for a long time. Others may have just been for a short period, but it's still not easy when you do see people leave, and you have to integrate new signings, new people coming to the club. We wanted there to be a freshness about the place. I think we wanted to be a bit more dynamic on the pitch. Mark wants to play a certain way, which, you know, we support. The board, you know, the club want to play that way. We want to bring young players and develop young players, like a lot of clubs do. But you know, whether those players were to be brought through the academy, which several of them have been, to try and integrate within the club, and we saw at the back end of last season, you know, one or two, you know, get given a chance, and you know, we wanted to go that a little bit younger, and the average age has come down from 27 at the end of last season to now just over 23. I think that's a lot of good work been done. I think we've to change the style of play that Mark's working towards, and it's still a work in progress. But I think we're really pleased with the business we've been able to do. We've been patient. Of course, Mark was desperate to not only get somebody in alongside him in Alex Ray. He's a very, very good football person, first of all, to have, and he complements Mark's skills and has integrated very, very well within the staff and with the players. But you know, the players that have been brought in, we've took our time. We've not jumped into things and you know, spent the budget all in one go, and all of a sudden then things come up later on in the window. And I think we've been diligent in the work that we've done. The players that we've brought in, we have done work on. We've had to move quickly on one or two that have come our way, but that's not, you know, again, jumping into things. So it's been a real collaboration of myself, Mark, and Lee Turnbull working closely to try and, you know, make things happen.
From the outside looking in, you brought in a good mix of youth and experience. The team's in a good place just now. You're in a good place just now. Been a bit of a difficult journey to get there. Is that a fair summary?
It's never easy, and people think it's, you know, I suppose when you look at what's accessible to fans now, supporters, you know, they can go on, play Football Manager, Championship Manager, whatever it's called, and you know, assemble a squad and go and win a Champions League within 2 years. It's unfortunately it's not like that. You know, you have to make a lot of phone calls, a lot of communication, a lot of digging that people don't go, you know, it goes unnoticed. You know, we've got scouts working for us, not getting paid. They do it in their own time. Reports need to be collated. We need to be organised in how we go about that business. We've changed tack this year a little bit in that we've targeted players from Scotland, from north of the border, but also those that have got Scottish family who could maybe, you know, who know the landscape, I suppose. And you know, it's something that we wanted to target certain leagues and make sure that we, you know, players are familiar with what they're coming to in the Scottish Championship. Not always possible, but I think we've managed to do that. And you know, with the mixture of experienced players like Tony Watt, for instance, knows Scottish football, knows what it's all about, Alex Samuels come from Ross County. You know, 2 experienced lads that have mixed straight away with the rest of the group. And then we've brought, you know, younger players. Cammy Logan was here for a period on trial, so we could see what he was like within the group. Little T, you know, has come in and set the club alight really with his smile, but his enthusiasm, the way he plays. That was a conversation I had with an agent. Asked whether we'd be interested in bringing him over from Lommel, and you know, we managed to do some digging. We brought him in again for a trial period, but I think we knew pretty much what we were bringing to the club, and it was just to see that he was fit and well, and you know, moved straight away as soon as he'd been here for a week. You know, and you know, players that I think have you know, really hit the ground running. Paddy Redding, we knew what we were bringing in from Ayr United, having played against him. Really good, solid signings, and I think we've you know, it's what Mark wanted, and that's, I think people need to know that my job is not just purely about the recruitment, but it's to support Mark and the staff. It's to make sure that we bring players in all areas, and that's what we'll continue doing towards January and next summer now. That's what we build towards. But we put a number of players to Mark in all areas and say, look, these are our top targets at the moment. This is what we'll continue watching them. If we need for instance, I don't know, a right winger for instance, these are the A, B, C, D, E and F. This is what we think are doing well at the moment. These are who we think will fit in. But Mark will get the final decision on it, and if we can make it work financially, which has been, you know, proved challenging this year as well. You know, I think it's been well documented again that we aim to cut the budget, which we have done, and the work we've done, I think, is testament to, you know, to everybody. It's not just down to one person, and you have to work as a group. You have to communicate well. You have to be sure of what you know, the targets you're going for. But Mark ultimately has to want them and can see a part playing, you know, for them. So very much a collaboration when it comes to bringing players in.
Good to hear. You're obviously getting more integrated or getting reintroduced to the Partick Thistle family. How's that side of things going?
Yeah, great. Look, I think the role is all encompassing, whether it's the recruitment we've spoken about, you know, being part of the squad, but supporting the academy. Craig Dargo doing a great job with his staff. So knowing what's coming up and succession planning with that. Clearly a lot of work with the board and talking communications, you know, up the way as well. So that's, you know, those lines of communication are very free and relaxed. I think you know, the women's side, Caroline, who's in charge of that side of things, you know, if there's anything that we can help with that, then it's, you know, important that I'm there for them. The medical side, the sports science, you know, logistics of you know, work closely with Graham in the office with the secretary, who does a huge amount of work that people don't realise. It's just in all areas, you know, yourselves within the media. You know, how can we promote the Partick Thistle brand? Getting out and meeting people, trying to again meeting people that I've not spoken to for 10 or 11 years since leaving Motherwell. And again, you know, just what can we do to make Partick Thistle a better football club?
Do you have a message for the fans, Ian?
Personal or
both?
No, I've really enjoyed my first few months here. Yes, it's been up and down. But I've been very, very involved in, say, the back end of last season, getting to know the club as quickly as possible to then move towards, you know, what we could do this year. And a lot of the work was done before I went away, you know, and got married, and obviously what we've spoken about happened. But, you know, I think getting to know people, getting to know the type of people we wanted to bring in, getting to know the targets we were having in what areas, and I think the work we've been able to do is, you know, again, we're still a work in progress. Mark's still, you know, trying to get across to the players what he wants from a Thistle player, and that will continue. We're very much in the infancy of this project, and I think you'll see hopefully the work that goes towards January, goes towards the summer. Hopefully we have started well, but we want to be a strong squad that competes for the full season and not just in the early part of the season. So a lot of work to be done.
And the fans will see about the Wire Stadium at Firhill Moor be popping into things like hospitality soon.
Yeah, I think it's an important part of the job. I think getting to know supporters, supporting the commercial side, sponsors, companies, businesses. I think there's a great product here. For instance, I know there's cut prices for sponsorship for
Jane Friday.
The game on Friday evening. Where hospitality, I think they've cut certain prices to try and entice groups to come down here, big groups to come down on a Friday evening, for instance, to have a meal, go and watch the game. I think in really good surroundings, a fantastic view from across the way there, and I think to try and promote the Thistle brand, the brand of football that we're playing at the moment. Mark and the squad are doing their job, and I think that gives a real feel good factor around the club. And if we can get more people here to come and watch it, I think it will entice a lot more people to come and watch what we're doing, because I think what we are producing at the moment is very, very good. We're never going to win every game. We know that's football, but hopefully we will compete. We'll be in every game, and hopefully it's a fantastic brand of football that we're showing at the moment, where people enjoy and watch their evening's entertainment.
Ian, thank you for your time. Welcome back.
Thank you.